Welcome to the PMP with your host, TJ Riddell. Now, I gotta walk away from the camera in just a second. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me tell you, what a weekend. What a freaking weekend of football. Saw a lot of things that happened, both NFL and college I really liked, which is a rarity this season. I liked a lot of games this weekend, and there were some games I was like, what in the hell is going on? You know, so move that down a little bit. There we go. So there's a lot of good games this week that I appreciated in such a watered down NFL season. And then there was a lot of games that in the college level that I was like, these are some really good games that I'm watching here. First I want to touch up on what happened with Trevon Diggs and the reporter Mike Leslie. So Mike Leslie is a reporter up there in Dallas. He reported, or he was on Twitter, made a remark towards Trevon Diggs, saying what was he doing on that play, you know, and it showed the play where I think it was George Kittle that ran down the sideline and almost scored, and you just see a lackadaisical Trevon Diggs on the play, you know, and a lot of people were asking that question too, like what was Trevon Diggs doing on that play? I was even asking that because as a former corner, I'm sitting there going, what the hell are you doing, Trevon Diggs? So then Mike Leslie, the reporter, reports it or asks the question, what were you thinking on that play? And Trevon Diggs snapped at him. And I mean snapped at him. If you haven't seen it, go look at it on Twitter. I'm sure it's out there. You know, and it was incredible to see as far as like a former football player from the high school level, seeing that and just going, what in the hell are you thinking, Trevon? Like, you had a bad game. Frustrations are brewing with the Cowboys right now. And I get it. We're sucking right now. We are. We truly are sucking right now. And as a Cowboys fan, I can honestly say that because we look like dog shit. And I understand frustrations brew, but you can't speak to media personnel like that. I'm sorry. I'm defending Mike Leslie on it. But they squashed their little social media beef or whatever after Trevon Diggs made the remarks that you don't know anything but these nuts, basically. And what ended up happening was they both apologized to each other and they got each other a can of nuts called D's Nuts, which is hilarious to me. So it was a hilarious makeup, whatever, you know. But for Trevon Diggs, you got to step it up, brother. You're a leader in the locker room. And for Micah Parsons to do a fucking podcast about it and to try to stir things up with Trevon Diggs, you know, I don't usually say this about high caliber guys, so here it is. Micah Parsons is a cancer to the locker room. Jerry, I know you're old, but you're not old enough to not get rid of the motherfucker. Honestly. He's ruining the Cowboys organization. He's making the Cowboys organization franchise look like a bunch of fucking misfits. So get rid of him. Please, for the love of God. Okay? And then you got Jerry Jones with the face. The face that looks like he has a fucking stroke again for Dallas. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. He acts so surprised when the Cowboys lose. But yet, the Cowboys are looking like shit every fucking game. Like, I couldn't even watch the 49ers and Cowboys game. It was just bad. Like, even the 49ers at their worst beat the Cowboys. It's hilarious. And I'm a Cowboys fan. But, anywho, we're going to talk about some college football first. Gotta tell you, I went 6-4 this week. Again, so I'm pretty consistent in college football right now. Finally, after all these weeks, I started off great, then I did terrible, and now I'm in the mid-range now. Now I'm back to consistently getting better at records by the week. So, Syracuse shit the bed, obviously. I had them winning 21-17, but they lost to Pittsburgh 41-13. So Pittsburgh's a legit football team, and they made Kyle McCord look like an amateur out there. It was amateur hour for Kyle McCord. It was a disgraceful game for Kyle McCord. Just absolutely terrible. And then we move on to Friday's game, Boise State versus UNLV. I knew it was going to be a good one. Ashton Genty, over 100 yards with 36 carries. Still unbelievable. Still unbelievable by him. I picked Boise State to win 38-28. They actually won 29-24. UNLV's defense, they are a little bit tougher than a lot of people think. And a lot of chat members saying hello and hi today. So welcome, welcome. I really like Ashton Genty as the Heisman. I really do. And all these guys are putting the odds on Travis Hunter. Should not put Travis Hunter up for Heisman. I'm sorry. He doesn't. To me, yes, he's the best college football player today, but the best performer is definitely Ashton Genty. It's much harder to play running back than it is to play cornerback and receiver. I'm just going to throw that out there. Then we move on to the PNP game of the week last week. It was number 12 Notre Dame and number 24 Navy. Now, Navy, I picked Navy to win. I thought they could do it. Well, this Notre Dame squad said no, the hell they're not. So, no more anchors away. Navy loses their first game in a humiliating fashion, 51-14. I was really, really looking forward to this game, but man, Notre Dame put the beat down on Navy, and they're starting to look like a legit playoff contender. So, moving on amicably, or I don't know how to say it. Georgia Tech 5-3 traveling to Virginia Tech. Now Virginia Tech's starting to bounce back a little bit, so I picked Virginia Tech 34-23. I love what I'm seeing out of Shane Beamer's team and how well they're playing football right now. Virginia Tech goes on to win 21-6. Maybe that dark horse is maybe starting to click finally. I had them as my dark horse this year, so maybe they're starting to come around a little bit. Then we move on to number 20, Illinois, 6-1, traveling to number 1, Oregon. Now, I thought Oregon was going to win 38-21. I thought they would control this game, and Illinois would score last minute. But man, let me tell you, Oregon looked good out there. against Illinois. They put the beat down on Illinois, 38-9. So I got Oregon's score right, and I predicted them to win. So call me Houdini because I know who's gonna win, okay, and I know how much they're gonna win by, or how many points they're gonna score anyway. But I'm just full of shit. But anyway, we got Illinois, or I'm sorry, number 21 Missouri taking on number 15 Alabama. Now, I had Alabama winning 27-13 because I thought they were going to still struggle offensively. But, man, Alabama beat that ass, But that goes back to the A&M game where every Aggie was jumping up and down about how impressive that win was. It was not an impressive win. Same thing with Alabama fans. This was not an impressive win. Yeah, you shut them out, but you're supposed to win that game. You really are. You're in the top 15 against a team that barely wins games. Somehow they barely win games. They really didn't have any dominant wins this season, as far as against other Division I schools anyway. But good win for Alabama, especially after the last couple weeks that they've lost to Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Great bounce back anyway. But now moving on to number 5 Texas taking on number 25 Vanderbilt. I had Texas whooping that ass 42-13. Texas won, but not in the way that I thought was going to happen. But we did, however, play well defensively. Offensively, the offensive line is just not working somehow, some way. Vanderbilt's defense came to play a little bit. But our defense showed out and scared the living shit out of Diego Pavia. He said that was the best defense he's played so far. And I couldn't be more proud of the University of Texas defense. Now, the University of Texas offense needs to get their shit together. There's no reason to go 3 and out against Vanderbilt's defense. They're not that great. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Now we go to number 3 Penn State taking on Wisconsin. I had Penn State winning 14-10. It was looking like that, but Wisconsin ended up scoring 13. Penn State won 28-13. And I believe Drew Aller is hurt, so that's going to hurt Penn State for this week's game in 2 days. Number 8 LSU taking on number 14 Texas A&M and Kyle Field. Now, I once predicted that A&M would beat LSU and in that horrendous 5-7 2022 season, and they did. Good for them. I predicted LSU to go in there this time and beat A&M 38-13 because I thought that offense couldn't handle the LSU defense. Boy, was I wrong. 38-25 Texas A&M. And I gotta say, 3 claps for A&M. 3 claps for A&M. Again, that was a hell of a performance by the Aggies. I got to admit, that second half adjustment when Connor Wigman was struggling, the defensive adjustment was more impressive to me because they were able to create pressure on Nussmeier, force him to throw 3 turnovers, held that LSU offense in check. I was really impressed with the second half adjustment. So I think this was a big win for A&M, but you got to be careful going into Columbia, South Carolina this week. And finally, the last game I'm going to talk about, Cincinnati travels to Colorado. Who's going to be bowl eligible first? Cincinnati or Colorado? Now, Colorado has been rather impressive the last couple of weeks. I must admit, but the conference isn't that great. Let's keep it real. Now, if Texas and Oklahoma were there, it would be a lot more competitive. It would be a lot more compelling to watch. Honestly, it's hard to watch a Big 12 game this season. It really is. I tried to watch a TCU game, and I couldn't even watch it. It was unbearable. I had Cincinnati winning that game 27-21, but Colorado shut me up again, 34-23. They're starting to finally open up a little bit to me. So, great win for the Buffs. Now, we're going to move on to the NFL side of things. I honestly forgot the scores, but I know who won. Okay, so bear with me. Now, the Falcons and Buccaneers played in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay wearing the creamsicle uniforms. I love those uniforms, by the way. I wish they would do that and have the current Buccaneers logo on there. Tampa was favored to win, and I picked Atlanta to win 31-27. They ended up winning that game, so I'm 1-0 in NFL. Colts at Texans. Now, the Texans have been shaky over the last couple of weeks. I had the Texans win 27-24. Texans win. I'll provide the scores in tonight's show for the predictions that I had. So tune in later tonight at around 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time, and 6 o'clock Pacific Time. Now, if we're not there at 8 o'clock, because we're usually not on time with things, let's keep it a buck. We're never on time with a lot of things, but I'll provide scores during the opening portion of the prediction show. But I had the Texans winning. The Texans won. Bills Seahawks. I had the Bills winning. Bills won. And the Bears and Commanders. Probably the last thing I'm going to talk about before our main event here on TJ's Talkbox. The Bears defense let a Hail Mary go into fruition. I don't know what it is with this Bears team. I really don't. Like, how do you have a guy playing deep thirds? And I'm talking about in a Hail Mary defense where you're going deep cover three, and you got a guy chirping at the sideline or the fans or whatever while the play's going on. Jaden Daniels is dancing around trying to find an opening for a Hail Mary. And what I don't understand is the play before. Matt Eberflus is a jackass, okay? He is a jackass. Why would you allow them to get close into Hail Mary range? Why would you allow that? Answer that for me, please, Matt Eberflus. If there's any Bears fans, just please answer, because I don't quite understand this moronic idea of letting them gain yardage and then giving them an opportunity for a Hail Mary. And here's my deal. Why aren't we creating more pressure on these guys when they're doing Hail Marys? Why aren't we bringing in 6 guys in the box and letting the 5 DBs take care of business? Why are we so fucking scared to play defense? Honestly, like, and I'm talking to the defensive coordinator. I'm talking to Matt Eberflees. Because, and why don't we have wide receivers, or why don't we have receivers, your best receivers out there? I would throw in Roman Dunze. I would throw in Keenan Allen out there to help out. DJ Moore. Why isn't DJ Moore out there? Back there deep as a safety. You want receivers that can catch the ball, or because they're able to have higher hops than most DBs. It's just a proven fact. I don't understand it, and then I don't understand. I forgot the guy's name. Stevenson. He did apologize for it, but apologizing ain't gonna change the result. I'm sorry. You fucking ruined your chance to being a hero. You look like a jackass out there. It was all over social media. I couldn't believe it with my own eyes. I was like, what the hell is he doing? I had secondary anxiety. But that put me at 4-0, so thank you so much, Chicago. Now, I'm 4-0 in my NFL picks. That's the first time anybody on the PMP went undefeated in NFL picks in a week. Gotta tell you, in my imaginary cigar, smoking that NFL pack. You know what? If they run the ball, do play action, I think Green Bay can pull off an upset against Detroit. I don't think their secondary is that great. Detroit's. I thought that they're coming off of a big win against Tennessee, a lackluster team in the NFL. But I think Green Bay will rough and tough them enough to where they'll beat them in Lambeau. I think. I don't know. That'll be on the prediction show. So tune into the prediction show later tonight. We'll be on later tonight, Steve. But that's a very good question. I am very intrigued to see how that game goes. That is on our prediction list tonight. So, but one more thing before I go. I got to mention this because Deshaun Watson out, Jameis Winston in. Let me tell you, I've been waiting for this moment all season. Jameis Winston getting his opportunity in Cleveland. And what happened? He won Cleveland the game. Whereas Deshaun Watson, his teammates can't stand his ass. His fans cheer when he's getting carted off, which I think is disgraceful as a fan base. But still, I think you're about to see something beautiful with Cleveland and Jameis Winston. I think that Jameis has the locker room at his side. Like, he is a locker room leader. I think that he is a very talented guy, even though he's very inconsistent. I hope that he changes the inconsistency and turns it into something special to where he is able to just ride it along and be another Geno Smith, but better. Be Jameis Winston of, remember that freshman year at Florida State. Be that Jameis Winston. I always thought when guys go into the draft too early, they end up having short careers or they are just glorified journeymen at, until they retire. And for Jameis, I really do hope that he gets an opportunity because I like Jameis Winston. I really do. I like him as a person. I like him as a player, but even more as a person because, uh, yeah, he's a little goofy in his huddles or whatnot, where he's trying to motivate the team, but he gives a fuck. He gives a fuck about what jersey he's wearing. He actually cares about his teammates. He cares about everybody in the organization. Even though nobody cares about Deshaun Watson, he obviously cares because he's a team player. He's not an individual. He's a team player. That's what I love about Jameis Winston. Say what you want about the goofy antics and the W where he's gotta eat the dub. You know, I thought that was hilarious, but I understood the message that he wants his team to win, obviously. But you know, like he actually cares about his team, his organization, everything. He even cares about the city where he resides at right now. He gives a fuck. And that's what I love about Jameis Winston. I wish there were more Jameis Winstons than there are Tyreek Hills. If that makes sense. Tune in later tonight at around 8 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. As the PMP will have our predictions for college football week 10 already. What in the hell is going on? And NFL week 9 predictions, as we also talk about Anthony Richardson. What in the hell happened with him and calling himself out of the game due to him being tired, which ended up getting him benched for this week's game. That's all I have for today, folks. Tune in later tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna have our predictions. Talk about Anthony Richardson, Week 10 college football predictions, and Week 9 NFL predictions. And also Anthony Richardson being benched and calling himself out or tapping himself out of the game due to him being tired. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I have a lot to say about that. And I'm sure JMO does as well. So tune in tonight. Me and JMO will be back together and talk about our predictions for this week. I went undefeated in NFL, so congrats to me. I don't know about JMO. He probably went 0-4. So tune in tonight. It's going to be a great show. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching and the support that I've had over the last couple of days. I've needed it. Someone very dear to me passed. So I want to dedicate this show and tonight's show to her. Love you and miss you, Nana. I hope that I get to see you very soon. But I just want to dedicate this show to her so that way people understand that there's more to life than podcasting and football, you know. And she was my biggest fan when I played football. So it means a lot to me that I give that out before I go. But Tune in to the P&P later tonight. This is TJ's Talkbox. I'm TJ Riddell. Good night, mwah, and good night, bang.